cell phones and email was not as prevalent as it is now. So when you talk about calling those coaches, you talk about from like an office phone.
Yeah, and good point. In fact, my very first cell phone ever was when I was in Neosho, but at that point I didn't have one. But it was a little bit different, Brandon. You're right. The ability to reach people, email, cell phone, social media, wasn't there at all. Exactly right. But because we only had landlines and we only had mail, people were a little bit more cognizant of it. So when you left a message for someone on their voicemail, which it's 2020, who leaves voicemails anymore, right? That has gone down even tremendously. But when you left a voicemail, it kind of meant something. It meant more back then because that was the only way that person probably could reach you. So I certainly didn't get everybody on the first ring, but most of them, and I say most of them, my memory is 20 years ago, for crying out loud. I'm sure most of them didn't. So I did call every high school. I probably didn't talk to every high school coach in the state of Kansas. But I just went through, and so that fall we ended up having 25 to 30 kids. Got a couple kids fell in my lap. I had a couple of connections here and there, so I got some kids that transfer in that were failing out of their 4-year schools. Best kid I got was Wichita Heights High School, I think it was. The coach told me, he goes, I do have a kid. He goes, he's the greatest kid in the world. He's so awesome. And you know what that means. It's like, oh, okay, well, he's not very good. But I was not picky. I had nobody. So I'm like, yeah, let's do it, man.
Yeah.
I think he ran 11.3 and 52, 53 maybe in the quarter. Pat Agwoo, I'll never forget him. Freshman year, he runs 10:49 and 48. He ends up, I was just there for a year, ended up doing a sophomore year there, and then transferred to Kansas State. He got a scholarship at Kansas State and ran on their either Big 12 or school record setting 4x4 team. So he went on to have success. An 11.3 kid from Wichita, Kansas that I happened to call on June 1 and got him. And he was really coachable, really smart. And he was, by the way, a super great kid. He was just one of the most fantastic people around. So he was a model student athlete.
And I think that's what it's about. Those are the, I'm pretty sure you have those stories where they're not necessarily, you may have kids that perform at a higher level and win more accolades or whatever, but it's just those kind of stories. Talking about a kid that was running 11.3 and 52, and he comes in and runs 10.4 and 48 and goes to Kansas. Those stories right there are why I got into coaching, me personally,